Today on History of Learning English Language, we're going to look at the history of English origins, and you'll understand some of those strange things about English like spellings, and like why English language has so many words. English has so many words because they're an island and they have had a lot of invaders. So throughout history they have had lots of people come and settle there, and of course they brought their languages. English has about 29% of its words from Latin, about 29% from French, and about 26% from all German languages, including Old English, Middle English, and Old Norse.
And finally, English has about 6% from Greek and 10% from other language families, mostly because of globalization. But to find out the real origins of English, we have to go further back time to English originated from an ancient language called Proto-Indo-European. English actually belongs to the Indo-European family of the languages which date back 5,000 years. Now, this ancient language family gave birth to many of languages currently spoken in Europe, including in West Asia and even to Iceland. Proto- and Indo-European, European languages, West Asian languages, Scandinavian languages. English can be related to languages from Iceland to India. One of the languages to come from Proto-Indo-European was the Germanic language family, and at this time, this was one of that mostly shaped English. The Germanic language family split into different strands, and one of these included Old Frisian, and this was spoken by Dutch people who were living in that area, as well as some of the German inhabitants in that area as well. Frisian is actually the nearest relation to modern English in terms of the grammatical structure. So it's got a lot in common with English, and some of extremely everyday words are very similar to Frisian. For example, take the English word food. In Old Frisian, this would have been food. As you can see, it's extremely similar, yes? Okay, look also at day, rain, summer, and they have hardly changed since 3,000 years ago. Now, one thing that may be interesting to you is you will see the spelling in different. Yes, was different. And this spelling was actually more a phonetic spelling. Yes, in English we have EI, which, as you know, that EI symbol today is the phoneme for sound, as in train, rain. So it's used to be spelled in more of a phonetic way. The biggest influence on English was, of course, the Roman invasion by Julius Caesar in 55 before Christ. Julius Caesar invaded Britain twice, in 55 and 54 before Christ. On the first occasion, Caesar took with him only 2 legions and achieved little beyond a landing on the coast of Kent. The second invasion consists of 628 ships, 5 legions, and 2,000 cavalry. The force was so imposing that the Britons didn't dare contest Caesar's landing in Kent, waiting instead until he began to move inland. The Romans were for a long time there, about 400 years. So they did have an influence on English language, as well as building some great roads and many other things. At the time, Roman Empire spoke Latin and Greek, so some Latin and Greek words were absorbed into, of course, English language. Let's have a look at few examples. Win, wine, candle, butter, cheese. As you can see, they are very similar. From Greek, they got words from democracy as democracy, philosophy, phobia, geography. In fact, that PH spelling, which said like F sound, came from Greek. So Romans gradually left the Britain Isles from 388 and no Domini, but that certainly didn't stop the invaders. Then they had invasions from Germanic tribes coming from the area which is currently known today as Germany. So they were invaded by Jews, the Angles and the Saxons. All of these people spoke a version of West Germanic, which had evolved from all the Germanic language that is really began to dominate and took over any of the Celtic dialects that were in existence at the time. Germanic tribes who spoke a version of all the Germanic languages brought their languages. This blended with the Latin and Greek and existing Germanic framework. Let's have a look at some words English got from there, of course, as meal, lamb, sea, boat, storm. The language at this point had evolved into Anglo-Saxon, which is known as Old English. However, some things started to shift from looking similar to the Old Germanic languages. The SK consonant cluster became SH, like sh. This was when they got this sound sh. So words that would originally have been skilled became as shield, skip became as a ship, disc became as a dish. Other words that have SK consonant cluster in English came with Vikings. So the next invaders were Vikings. They spoke Old Norse, which wasn't that dissimilar to Anglo-Saxon. The Vikings were again for 100 years, and of course with that came their language. Germanic language family, Old Norse, Anglo-Saxon, and similarities so mixed well. And they tend to be much shorter than any Latinated words. They tend to have stronger consonant cluster. Let's have a look of a few examples. Skin, leg, skull, freckle, husband, sky, knife, gap. You will notice that English got a lot of double letters, in fact, from Old Norse. So, next group of invaders were Normans. William Conqueror, he was the first king of England. He was French. Now, this could explain why French and English spelling have so many in common, because a lot of Norman language and a lot of French came into English language at this point.
I hope this lesson has been enjoyable as well as educational. And now you have a much better knowledge about why English is the way it is today. Please write on your copybooks about the words that you like in English and tell me what you think the origin of that word could be. We'll see you soon. Bye.